This is part 5 of ME 407 Mechatronics Module 1. Basic working principle of force or pressure sensor. Some specific material if you take, it will change its dimension by the act of some pressure or a force. That is what it is indicated. It is changing its length by a dl by application of some force in this direction. This will change the resistance of the material also. Some material, this is more prevalent, and if you select that material for measurement, it can be used as a pressure or force sensor. Depending upon the type of application and the context in which you are going to measure the pressure, pressure sensors can be classified into 4 types. Absolute pressure sensor, PSIA, it will measure the absolute pressure or pressure sensed relative to the absolute vacuum. Differential pressure sensor, PSID, difference between the two pressures is monitored. Gauge pressure sensor, pressure relative to the ambient pressure is sensed. It is the most common type. Sealed gauge pressure sensor, that is PSIS, pressure relative to a sealed pressure chamber. Usually the sealed pressure chamber will be 1 atmosphere sea level pressure, that is 14.7 psi. Now we will see what is the definition of a piezo-resistive sensing. It is also called as a strain sensor or a strain gauge. Strain gauge is a device used to measure how much a component distorted under loading. So the electrical resistance change. The electrical resistance of a sensing material changes as a result of the applied strain. This is what the basic principle of piezo-resistive sensing. What is the physical cause of the piezo-resistivity? Normally a material resistance can be measured in terms of length and area as R is equal to specific resistance rho L by A, length divided by A. It is proportional like this. And if you differentiate, change in resistance can be calibrated by this formula, dr by dr, dr by R is equal to dl by L plus d rho by rho dA by A. Why the electrical conductivity changes with the stress or strain? Because this is because of as a result of the crystal lattice deformation. When you apply stress or strain, the crystal lattice is deformed. So this strain causes the shape of the energy band curve to change. That is what it is shown in this figure. This is the energy band it is showing. As you apply some stress or strain, there is an energy level difference that is happening. It is related by the equation here. If you take some application in macro scale, a sport weldable strain gauge, that is what a setup is shown here. A sport weldable strain gauges are used with strain gauge sensors and a vibrating wire indicator or a data logger to monitor the strain in a steel member. We are going to measure the strain what is happening in the steel member using a data logger and a strain gauge and a vibrating wire indicator. This will help to monitor the structural members of the building and bridges during and after the construction. So the basic principle of the strain gauge can be summarized as the resistance offered by, this is a construction, it is coming up, between a laminated film, you are putting a metallic resistive coil. This coil, whatever resistance change because of the applied force in its surface, how much change in dimension is happening will cause a change in the resistance. That resistance can be indicated by the formula R is equal to rho L by A, where L is the length of the wire, A is the cross section area, and rho is the resistivity. Rho is the resistivity. So this is related. So the change in resistance, as the length and cross sectional area changes, there is going to be a change in the resistance. This change in the resistance you are going to measure. How the measurement is happening in a strain gauge? We are applying tension in its direction. There is a change in the resistance. Again, there is a, if you are applying a compression, then also the resistance is changing. The resistance is increasing in both cases. And the gauge is, what we have shown is insensitive to the lateral direction, lateral forces. So forces will be measured in linear direction. Basic elements of a strain gauge: it will have a base, a bonded surface, metal foil, a laminate film, and a solder. From there the gauge lead is taken. It will be silver clad copper wire. So this is what another view of the construction. This is the base length of the gauge. This is the base width. It is the grid width, where this coil width is shown here as grid width, and grid length, that is the strain sensing part. And you can have some marking, that is the center marks. So the working principle, if you analyze, it will have two axes, active axis and passive axis. In this direction you are measuring the force. So the input, this elastic element is the measuring element. Input is force, torque and pressure. There is a deformation happening to the elastic element. That deformation is measured in the strain gauge, and that measurement is happening through the variable resistance measurement. Here we are showing an example of stress state analysis of a cantilever beam. So it's a cantilever, we are fixing a doped piezo resistor. This is what how we are going to place the piezo resistor, and as we apply a load here, as the deflection is happening in the bottom. So the strain gauge, it is getting, the resistance will change and you can measure it. Measurement is through this metallic wire lead coming outside. Different application based on the type of elements and all, how it is classified, you can see here. It's a cantilever flow. How the measurement is happening, you can see a strain gauge here. The applied force, the deflection is happening. It's a ring form. Ring form, how the measurement, as you apply the force, there is a deformation is happening in this direction. You can measure by fixing the strain gauge here. A strain gauge, in the case of a U shape, you are going to fix a strain gauge somewhere here. By the application of the force, a deflection is going to happen here. So normally strain gauges are used for measuring stress analysis, forces and momentum. In a diaphragm type pressure gauge, piezo-resistive pressure gauge sensor, how the measurement is happening, you can see that this is a diaphragm on which this strain gauge is attached, and you can measure through, this is a measuring device. This diaphragm, as it is, if you are applying a pressure here, this diaphragm is going to change its shape. If it is a vacuum, it will come up in this direction, or if it is a pressure, it will create a curvature here. So that deformation can be measured using this strain gauge. And the resistance of the conductor is proportional to the length, so stretching increases the resistance. As the conductor is stretched, its cross-sectional area reduces, which also increases the resistance. Figure shows different types of strain gauges. So different types of strain gauges are semiconductor strain gauge, thin film strain gauge, diffused semiconductor strain gauge, bonded resistance gauge. And the selection criteria of a strain gauge can be operating temperature, nature of strain, stability requirement. Figure shows the strain gauge circuit. The strain gauge circuit used is Wheatstone bridge that you have already studied in plus 2 and all. I repeat, Wheatstone bridge is an electrical circuit for detection of the minute resistance change. This is the circuit what is used with the strain gauge. There may be some effect of temperature on the output of the gauge, but ideally speaking, we would like to resistance of the strain gauge to change only the response to applied strain measurement. But practical application, however, strain gauge material as well as the specimen material to which gauge is applied will also respond to the change in temperature. How we are going to mitigate that? That is also important, where the accuracy requirement of measurement is very high. So the strain gauge manufacturers attempt to minimize the sensitivity to temperature by processing the gauge material to compensate for the thermal expansion of the specimen material. This compensated type of gauge reduces the thermal sensitivity. But one thing you have to keep in mind, do not totally remove it. It will compensate to some extent. So one method for temperature compensation is using two gauges. For that, in this figure, this one gauge is active, one is dummy gauge. In this figure, this is active gauge and this is a dummy gauge. In dummy, the strain has little effect on the second gauge or a dummy gauge. But because the temperature changes are identical in two gauges, the ratio of their resistance does not change, the voltage does not change, and the effect of the temperature change are minimized. This is the principle on which how we are using two gauges to mitigate the effect of the temperature, or how we are going to make a temperature compensation. Figure shows the strain gauge made of a single crystal silicon. This single crystal silicon, it is etched backside. You are etching the backside to form a diaphragm, and silicon is selectively doped in the region where the stress is greatest. Here silicon is doped where the stress effect is more. The difference of pressure across the diaphragm will cause the stress concentration. So the maximum effect will be this diaphragm deformation will be happening in this region. Piezoresistive pressure sensor continues. Here how you are going to place the two gauges R1 and R2 in two directions. Here also you can see that. This is how you two diffused resistors placed in two directions, and as the diaphragm is getting deformed by applying some pressure from here through this vent hole, this deformation is happening to R1 and R2. How a differential type pressure sensor is working? The diaphragm is placed, silicon diaphragm is placed between two chambers. So you can measure the difference between the two chamber pressures. So a differential sensor is produced by placing a diaphragm between two chambers, each vented through a port. Another approach used in a piezoresistive pressure sensor, a current passing through the strain gauge and a pressure is applied perpendicular to the current. That is what it is shown in this figure. You can see a traverse voltage strain gauge resistor here. Here is what the enlarged view of the thing, and this current is passing through the strain gauge and pressure is applied perpendicular to the current. So the voltage across the element is measured as an indication of the stress, and therefore the pressure can be measured. This is how the connection is happening. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is the ground, 2 positive output, 3 supply, 4 is the negative output. This is fixed on a silicon chip frame. This is how physically a pressure sensor looks like. These different types of pressure sensors. Some miniature type, it looks like this, miniature type, it's a enlarged view. It's a Pitran type pressure gauge, pressure sensor or absolute type. Here you are going to 150 psi differential pressure sensor. That is what, two differential pressure, 2 ports are there. 100 psi absolute pressure sensor. 15 to 30 psi differential pressure sensor. Now we will move on to another type of pressure sensor, that is capacitive type of pressure sensors. So what is the basic principle of working of a capacitive type pressure sensor is, capacitive pressure sensors measure pressure by detecting the change in electrical capacitance caused by the movement of the diaphragm. Here it is a construction is shown here. We have got a diaphragm that is placed between two capacitor plates, and this diaphragm is connected to where the pressure you want to monitor. The pressure port it is connected, and as the diaphragm moves, this capacitor plate capacitance keep on changing. This is what we are going to measure. So how the capacity is defined as C is equal to epsilon R, epsilon 0, A by D, where A is the area of the plate, D is the distance between the plate. This is the area of the plate and distance between the plate. Epsilon R is the dielectric constant of the material between the plate. That is the, in this case it is air. Epsilon 0 is the electric constant. Normally 8.854 into 1012. Another type of pressure sensor is working on variable reluctance type. That is variable reluctance pressure sensor. The basic principle is the variable reluctance sensor is a strain based wherein a magnetic circuit is formed and the parameter input causes the mechanical deflection of the spring member as a function of the pressure, force or acceleration. This is what it is shown here. You have got a spring mechanism here and it is moving. We are applying a pressure through the spring, this chamber. Here the coils are there. The coils are sealed from the measurement by non-magnetic welded stainless steel barriers. So in case of there is a change in dimension, the deflection is happening to this stainless steel rod or thing that is moving in between this coil. So it will create a variable reluctance. So this is what we are going to measure. This movement of the spring, the spring deflection will cause a variable reluctance is formed because of the interaction with this coil. Magnetic pressure sensor. In this, the reluctance is directly proportional to the length of the air gap between the diaphragm and the E-core. You can see a E-core and a diaphragm. As some force is coming here, there is a deflection is happening that will change the air gap. That will create a reluctance, change in the reluctance. The gap changes with the pressure and inductance of the two coil changes and sensed directly. Two coils, you can see this can be sensed through the circuit. A very small deflection can cause a very large change in the inductance of the circuit, making this a very sensitive device. Compared with the previous one, it is a very sensitive device. Magnetic sensors are almost devoid of temperature sensitivity, allowing these sensors to operate on an elevated temperature. This is one single largest advantage. At elevated temperature, magnetic type sensors are more useful.